we're live, make sure everything's working, get everything shared around everywhere so we're in the right place and it is working. Let's see. Yes, there we are. Awesome. Welcome to this week's live Monday Music Motivation. I almost said weekly warm up again. I've been doing these for a while now. You'd think I would have the right name, but welcome to the live Monday Music Motivation. This is our Monday after the wonderful Clarinet Fest in Denver that I was attending and competing in, and it was a wonderful festival. Shout out to anybody who may be watching this that I met in person there. It was really spectacular to meet so many people live and in the flesh. A lot of people who I've known online for a while, but first time meeting them in person was super special. But for what I want to talk about today and sort of give you a little motivation to get into it is this idea of persistence. So I was competing in the orchestral audition competition and did a lot of work preparing for that. I felt good. I made it. I was one of 7 finalists, which was really special and really fun to have the opportunity to play and compete there and play in front of some awesome judges. And the competition itself went kind of okay for me. I felt like in the performance, I kind of psyched myself out a little bit. It wasn't like a super anxious performance. It wasn't sort of the typical performance anxiety that I might experience where I was just really nervous and really shaky. I was really well prepared, so I felt good. I wasn't nervous about being able to play anything. I had done mock auditions, so I felt good about that. But I made some little mistakes towards the beginning, and the thought popped in my head of like, well, because of that mistake, I'm not going to win. And then that sort of spiraled into, well, now that I'm not going to win, like, I guess I'll just like try to get this over with. And I wasn't in the moment with the music. So the performance wasn't fantastic. I think I played okay because, again, I was really well prepared for it. But I didn't feel great about it in the moment, and I didn't win, which is totally fine. And again, I'm glad that I was able to compete. But after that, having that experience of like kind of a bad performance and having not great control of my thoughts in real time in the performance, I afterwards was starting to think like, man, maybe I'm like not cut out to perform. Maybe like I just actually can't win an audition because it's just not in there. But then the thought popped into my head of persistence, and we have to persist. And the people who are successful because they just kept going. I think it's very true that the only way that we truly fail is if we stop trying or stop learning from our failures and from our mistakes. So I took that in mind and reminded myself of that, and I decided I am going to keep performing. I am going to keep persisting. But on the other hand, it is also okay to fail. And even in this sense of truly failing, like I'm talking about, where you stop trying, sometimes there's just some things that aren't things that you want to do. And I think I've decided that a little bit when it comes to auditions in particular. I already more or less knew that large ensemble playing wasn't my favorite kind of playing. I have definitely known for a long time that I don't like doing auditions, and I think this kind of solidified that, yeah, maybe I'm okay with failing and never winning an audition. And that doesn't necessarily mean I'll never take another audition, because we can always shift and we can always pivot, which is fantastic. But I am going to persist as a performer because I love performing and I love sharing my music with people. And I'm going to keep learning from these kinds of experiences where things don't go exactly how I wanted them to. And I'm going to keep persisting, because it's when we persist is when we succeed. You have to persist to be able to succeed. You have to learn from your mistakes and grow and develop in order to succeed. And I want to sort of pivot this now towards you and what you need to be doing this week in your clarinet and music journey. And I encourage you to find ways to persist and to learn and maybe shift and pivot as needed. So whatever it is that you've been working on for a long time, if you have something that you sort of have the thought in your head of like, I'm not good at this, I can't do this, ask yourself, is this something that I'm okay with failing at? Which is totally fine. You can say, nope, I'm done. This isn't a thing that I'm going to achieve. Pack it up, maybe in the distant future, but I'm not going to concern myself with this anymore. Maybe it's articulation speed. Like you've been trying to go faster and faster and faster, and you're like, I've never really needed this in my music. I'm going to stop stressing out about trying to tongue at some arbitrary metronome marking. I'm okay with failing at that for now. Maybe I'll come back to it in the future if I need to. Or take something that you're going to persist at. Say, it could be the same thing. Let's say that's the articulation speed, and you've been wanting to be able to tongue 16th notes at 120, 130, 144, whatever your arbitrary tempo marking is for what you want to tongue 16th notes at. And you say to yourself, I'm going to persist. I'm going to keep going until I get this. And then the next step that you need to do is then start learning from your mistakes. Why aren't you there? What isn't working? What is keeping you from reaching those goals? And tackle those. Learn, adapt, grow, change, shift your approach so that you can keep moving forward in the right direction and persisting towards that success. So think about that, maybe brainstorm a little bit, something that you either are okay with giving up on and putting aside, or something, and maybe you have multiple of each, but something that you want to persist with and something that you're going to persist with until you succeed. And then take that to your template and plan your practice for this week. So here's mine. Again, it's very simple. Just the date for the week, reflection, how things are going, goal for this week, and your plan for when you're going to actually practice, and times to put in your calendar with what you want to be accomplishing and achieving. So I have some rehearsals coming up that I need to prepare for with the Nebula Ensemble. So I'm going to be doing that. We have a fun recording project this summer, so I'm really looking forward to that. So that's my goal for this week. I'm going to be persisting with Nebula, persisting with practice, getting ready to perform in a different way. This is like a professional recording situation, so it's a little different than an audition competition performance, but I'm going to keep performing. I'm going to keep persisting with that. I'm going to keep practicing and getting better at the clarinet. So that's my plan for this week. Go fill out your template. You can go to quickstartclarinet.com/get started to get this exact template PDF. You can also easily create it on your own, but go actually fill it out, figure out what you're going to be persisting with, and make a plan to make it happen. Put it in your schedule and have a great week of practicing. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next week on the next live Monday Music Motivation. Keep persisting. Have a great week of practice. See you all next week. Bye.